Peace, family. This is your boy Juro. It is Friday, the 29th of October, 2020. Correction, 2021. How is everybody doing? I'm going to go ahead and throw this disclaimer out now because I have to reach the intended heart, intended mind at the level that they're on. Just know that everything that I convey, everything that I share, comes from a good place. But we are in a state of emergency when it comes to humankind. Excuse me, because it's easy to say mankind, but we've gotten so hypersensitive about how communication is being disseminated, not being able to take a step back and look at the message. We want to make an argument on things that are nothing but distractions, and at what cause. Before I go into it, I'm going to pause right now because I got to use the bathroom. Okay, I'm back. So, as I'm putting the disclaimer out, I'm going to express myself on the level that it has to be. The intention comes from a pure place, and realistically, some may find offense. I'm here to tell you right now, the end goal is to protect your self-worth. So, right off the bat, if you do not want to hear the truth, if you want to continue to stay the course of your life where you think that is deemed as excitement, but really it is nothing but delayed turmoil, I suggest go ahead, click this off. This is not what you want because you're not ready. Now, with that being said, yesterday I made a point, put a video out, and there was so much I wanted to express, but I knew that based on the time, it would require more than one video. And I had to stop where I was so that I can allow myself to process, and I'm ready to continue my point. It's 2021, family. Technologically, we are moving and embracing technology by leaps and bounds. But there's a cost to that. And that cost, at times, has caused us as a race, as a demographic, as a society, to take a back seat. We're allowing AI to take the foreground when it comes to what, or better yet, what your discernment and common sense should navigate. So what am I talking about, Gerald? Family. Why is it now there is a race to get old? Like there's an emotional marathon being presented. But in actuality, the prize has always been you, the life experience, the history to your lineage, the wisdom of navigating all challenges as they are presented in real time. It just seems like ultimately there's an ulterior motive to get you to not trust yourself, to not trust your judgment, to allow your your life to be on autopilot, and if there is calamity, it comes with the territory of advancement. Who am I talking to? Within the last 7 years, you've had entrepreneurship of dating websites that have sprouted out like fungus to convince you to not focus on the person that matters most. That's the person in the mirror looking back. That's the person that welcomes you to start your day, and that is the same person that greets you when you conclude it for the night. Who am I talking to? So, with that being said, you also see an avenue through social media where the main talking points is about relationships. And that puzzles me because I will always remain prayed up. I will always place the Most High before any step. But I also understand the responsibility to be me. So through the years, I've always echoed commonalities and phrases that, from my experience, I speak upon. Why? Because that is my truth. And I wish that for those who may be in your 20s, in your 30s, or seasoned beyond your 30s, would finally allow yourself, or better yet, give yourself permission to claim your life rightfully back. We've been acclimated to put our professions in front of our emotional state. How did we get to that point? Who am I talking to? See, family, as you know, there is no consolation prize when it comes to imitation. But yet, the social narrative has always been imitation is flattery. No, imitation is nothing but unclaimed truth because it is nothing but a subtle delay from the truth. So, why is it now in 2021 the social narrative is don't worry about your physicality, go for the bag? Like the bag is going to make up for the things that make you feel insecure. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? I've got all the things that I want, but you feel still inadequate. Who am I talking to? Why is it with those same things, those same acquired tokens, you still have a void within yourself? Why? Because the fact of the matter is this: no man knoweth the moment they take their last breath. And with that being said, the reality is this: you can't take it with you. Did you hear me? You can't take it with you. But depending on the experience and the representation called your life will establish the template of your legacy after you have transcended on. Because let's be honest, disclaimer. The disclaimer is put there, but I gotta reach you because I genuinely give a damn about each and every one of you. I do. You don't want to be the person that you have all these accolades, but it is your friends and family arguing over a memento. Why are we doing that, family? But you couldn't even get them to give you 5 minutes of your time. But they're in the living room right now arguing on who gonna get the scrapbook. Who am I talking to? Why are we allowing instances to take place that should never been condoned to begin with? Your life is not made by Mattel. You don't have a stencil or a brand or a copyright stamped to your ass. Queens, I'm trying to talk to you. But as long as you keep navigating, and as long as you keep allowing the social narrative to be claimed, they are proverbially standing in front of your legacy and spitting in it. Treating you like Doritos. Don't worry about that. We'll make more. And that's exactly what has played out for the last 10, 15 years. Do you realize, Queen? Shout out to those who have yet bended the knee when it comes to cosmetic augmentation. Who have yet decided, instead of acknowledging that what hurts you, you decide to deflect it and make ink and make your body into a modern day mural. Who am I talking to? Let's talk about it. Because unless you came from under a rock, let's be honest. We all was asking the same question: was why are the rappers all tatted up? You know why they was tatted up, looking like living billboards? Because they were trying to mask the pain of choices unclaimed, but they had to deal with it. The other side of that, there wasn't no strong men out there. Predominantly, society has a Amazonian template. I need your seed, but I don't need you. And the moment that you decide to see your wealth, your worth, I'm going to weaponize your kids only to fuck them up too. I said disclaimer. I said disclaimer. But I know that's the only way some of you will understand my passion. Because you need to hear this. Because your friends won't give you the common decency to sit you down and say, hey, the strategy that you got right now ain't working. You know why they don't tell you that? Because they would be hypocrites, because they don't embrace it themselves. They don't want to be called out. So what do? I do my dirt on my lonely. And unless they're intoxicated, it will fall from their lips like it is nothing but a new accolade to mock and ridicule. Yeah, you know, I did this and I did that. But they ain't worth shit anyway, so we can get along somewhat. Queen, do you realize you're playing yourself from a social, economic, but emotional standpoint? Do you realize that? You don't believe me? Here's an example. Why is it so hard to tell somebody what you want to eat? That's the real pandemic. Every woman goes through that. They will allow a certain negotiation of vulnerability. But anything that remotely hits close to home, you short circuit. Why you do that? Instead of claiming your life, claiming your truth. Or are you afraid that someone's going to call you a bitch call you out your name. And let's make no bones about it, Queen. If you do have a suitor in your life and he's using that language of choice, he's a coward. And he's a manipulative too. I'm going to tell you why. Because they know 9 times out of 10, if you had a male influence in your life, at the least, they would think twice before it fell from their lips. Who am I talking to? But you put so much passion in social media, you can't cut it off. Your cell phone, your laptop has become symbiotic to your common sense. So guess what? They've weaponized that too. They've also realized something that has always been long-standing. A house that is fragmented can never have the foundation to stand. Who am I talking to? Why is it so hard for you to own your reality? Why is that? I didn't like what he said. You didn't like what he said because it was the truth and you had no control of said truth. So you tried to embellish it or more or less bury it with your wit and being savvy only to feel the effect behind closed doors. Who am I talking to? Just like I revealed yesterday, the social narrative queens, the agenda has always been profit or profit margin. And they know as long as there is unidentified, unclaimed discord in your life, they got you on autopilot. They're treating you like a damn slot machine. Because they know the more upset you get, the more money you're going to spend. Who am I damn talking to? He don't understand me. That's why we fight so much. But when the midnight hour comes, you make concessions just to have the illusion of intimacy. When the motherfucker should have never heard you breathe. Oops. Disclaimer. And that's a sad thing about the social narrative, because if you even try to align it to artificial intelligence, you'll never find empathy. You'll never find compassion. You will find only derivatives of non-accountability and distraction. You better let that shit sit in. So why are you settling? Because it's pissing me off a little bit. So this is for the intended heart, intended mind. Why are you letting that motherfucker be in your space when that motherfucker shouldn't have no access to you when he disrespected you? Even on the lowest sense of respect, you couldn't even buy a clue. And what's sad, as long as you keep having access given, they keep showing you through examples why they should have never had access to you to begin with. It's because they make you feel a certain way. They make you feel moist. They spawned a tingle unlike any other, and you have been by process of elimination, you think, well, if I can't have him all the way, I'll accept some of the way. Who am I talking to? Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you giving access of time and effort to something or someone that will never stand along next to you? Why are you, you got some people that actually have the audacity to hide the choices they make. I can't tell them that because that would prove that they were right the whole time. I gotta make it work. Really? Really? Can I go deeper? Let's go deeper. Is as advanced as we are as a society with technology paralleling our trajectory, why isn't that same energy and passion there to empower your health? Do you realize how many women are walking around that are sterile? Have to make the decision in the next 72 hours to save their life or get a hysterectomy. Who am I talking to? Who the fuck am I talking to? But you gotta have the audacity to feel a certain kind of way due to the reaction of your peer group. Saying this to yourself, I'm always there for them. I can't get them on the phone in my lowest moment. Why are they acting funny? When the truth of the matter is, half of them were envious, a third of them wouldn't do the work, and the other fourth didn't give two shits. Why are we putting passion on that, Coin? Because last time I checked, this time every year, you got so many people that want a bandwagon after for charity for breast cancer, but they don't want to get together when it comes to mental health and their future. Who am I talking to? They didn't understand me, so I had to replace them like a car part. Or here you go. We got differences, but the truth of the matter is I can work with that because where I came from, that's like a godsend. Most High ain't going to put you in that position. That's free will. That's free will, family. There's a responsibility to your life. But you know what the biggest tragedy of it all is? And I gotta tell you, you have convinced yourself through strategy or the mindset of if I can't beat them, join them. But all the freaking time, that little girl in you is saying, why are you putting me through this? I don't feel safe around them. They don't appreciate my time. When are you going to get off the emotional roller coaster or remove the rose-colored glasses to see them for who they are? Some of y'all got loyalty to your abusers. And the only reason it's that way, long standing, is because they have, by time, you think there's an unconditional loyalty owed. Who am I talking to? Meanwhile, you've got upstarts, offshoots of opinion, but not one of them take a position of ownership, awareness, and commitment to self betterment. It's easier to project than to look within. Who am I talking to? The mirror don't lie. Why are you in your 30s, ending your day like you started, in tears? Why? Who am I talking to? Same people saying, well, I bust it open, I give it to them twice on Sunday. That should just earn something. Yeah, more disrespect. And let's be honest. Can I be honest? That SOB is really the living manifestation of the distraction from the person you should have been with all along. But keep this in mind. Because you got some people that will say, nah, that's karma. I did some dirt. But you have yet to take accountability for it. We've seen examples of that in social media of plenty of people that will ransom their last breath to deflect a fact, then allow themselves to be vulnerable and heal. And you wonder why that motherfucker don't respect you. And for those that are in the extreme, will say, I don't mess with men, I mess with women. If she broken, how's she gonna grow? Why is she with you? Hello? The truth of the matter is, one of you see an advantage by having the other play step and fetch it. I tell you what you want to know, not what you need. So who has the inner strength? Who gives a damn? Why does it take for the sky to fall or for it to get real before you decide, you know what, maybe I need to put a pause on my strategy to date, because if I do it like they say, I should have the same outcome. No, the fuck you won't. No, the hell you won't. Because the Most High will never reward good behavior or bad behavior. I just thought about this. You got some people that believe that because they have mentorship or they have educational accolades, that gives them a pass for non-accountability. Who am I talking to? You don't know what you're talking about, Gerald, because educationally, and by my me wall, I deserve to have what I'm entitled to. But you're navigating your life like you're still in elementary school. Who am I talking to? And one of the things I used to always echo, well, two. Number one, I would always say to you queens, stop looking for your man. Prepare for him. And I find that kind of ironic in 2021. Everybody has used every descriptive term but what is factual. Maybe it's a copyright strike. Maybe they're afraid of litigation. I don't care about all that. Because I've always stayed prayed up when it came to praying for mankind. Yeah, praying for you. And we're seeing a direct effect or impact for our lineage before us failing to stand on point and tell you what you need. All right, parents, you know what I'm talking about. How many times have you also conveyed this? Everything that I do is out of protection for you, even from yourself. What I'm describing is a person that is unconditionally has love for that person, compassionately, and will not compromise out of convenience. Who am I talking to? Meanwhile, companies are coming up with products to make up for the things that you were given by gender that don't work. Let me tell you something. Because I got this feeling right now. Somebody has, you have shame over your spirit. You said, well, if anybody knew the things that I chose to do and this how the things were um, displayed or example, if they ever found that out, I would be ruined. Well, you're already ruined now until you decide to claim yourself first. Claim your life back. Stop living a life is what we would call being plastic. Because as long as you remain to be plastic, you will never get the outcome you rightfully deserve because it's not authentic. But society tells you, think like a man, act like a lady. But what if you never were instilled the tools to be a lady? Because if someone genuinely gave a damn about your life, they would have sat you down. You would have had those heart to hearts. You would have had those examples. Because that's how we learn. Doesn't matter if you're adventurous or even if you were mischievous. We learn as children by the most influential person for our attention, our focus. We mimic. That's why you always hear this. You have a strong woman in your life that genuinely gives a damn about your life. She's going to show you through her experiences and her wisdom what not to do. But society will tell you, nah, you ain't got to settle. But what it won't do is take accountability. It says if you keep that mindset, you are self-sabotaging your happiness. Who am I talking to? Come on, kings. Let's talk about it. Society has told you bigger's better. As long as you got that pole and you can lay it deep. You got a PhD in intimacy physically, but you are failing emotionally. How can you expect to be someone's husband? You're not prepared. That is nothing but a convenience built off of lust. It is nothing but a distraction, not a need. Who am I talking to? Well, you don't understand. Okay. If you feel so passionate about your future, what is preventing you from being authentic by first being aware of what don't work? I'm trying so hard to be PC right now, family. But I gotta reach somebody because I got a feeling somebody's about to make a life altering decision and you ain't gonna be able to undo it when you do it. Well, he gets me, Gerald. He stimulates my inner thoughts. That motherfucker's running game on you. That's why he's acting like an insect to a fucking nightlight. He wants the reward, but he don't care. He don't want the legacy. Come on, who the freaking who am I talking to? And you're wondering why your glove box look like it do. You do know, family, the trauma, the insecurities that you have yet to resolve. Next time you get out of the shower, look in the mirror. The body has a way of reflecting that said truth. I know somebody saying, man, you don't know what you're talking about. My shit swing like the wind. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter your genetic code. It doesn't matter what you were born with through heredity. If this is not on point, if this cannot communicate. And that's the problem with relationships today. They're afraid to speak their truth. You're like, well, nobody's perfect, Gerald. But the truth of the matter is, you're insecure because if it ever came out, you're more afraid that that person will leave you where you stand, or yes, selfishly, you just don't want nobody playing with the postage stamp. Playing with the postage stamp. You want to be King Dingaling, but you're failing in life. Ultimately failing your legacy. King, why the fuck do you think you got your last name? Every day that you choose not to invest in you, you are literally spitting in the face of your elders. Why? Because they give you attention. Because they can get you off sexually. We can't even make a fucking, can't even boil water. Can't even boil it. And society has convinced so many people, you don't need them. Do it yourself. Which there's a difference when it comes to being an adult, growing up, taking the responsibilities to define your life. You goddamn right you supposed to. There's no damn gold stars for being an adult. It don't hit right. It don't make sense until you get to that point when you're tired of being fucked over. And instead of you running your damn mouth, you take a step back and say, well, you know what? How did I get here? Why am I hurting more? Because numbness goes with so far. And yeah, let's go there. Because you guys, queens, you have coined the term numbness. That's why some of you don't even allow yourself to process where you were. You realize how many women do the old streetcar desire mentality? What I mean is they're in a relationship and then it abruptly ends. Instead of allowing themselves to process what they have experienced, they jump on the next distraction, even though the front of that damn thing says out of service. And when you're out of service, you're out of fucking time. Who am I talking to? So I mentioned yesterday, Queen, stop listening to broken women to convince you to live your life or navigate your life like they fucking know, because they don't. They're not certified to tell you or convey advice if they don't live it, if they have not experienced it. King, we live in an age where genetically things are in reverse, and you are seeing women in their natural state for the majority. But if she don't have a relationship with herself first, if she is unable to communicate her thoughts, secondly, if she's not willing, after it's been identified and addressed what needs to change, and she has yet to invest in the greatest commodity ever, her life, fucking run, dude. Queen, some of you navigate relationships based off of the trauma that resonates. You're quick to retort what you don't want, but don't have the strength to sit down and have clarity by attempting. I would rather allow that person to be forthright without judgment so I could have understanding of what I just experienced and the decisions made. You know what they do? Come on, let's go have sex. And that ain't nothing but degradation in itself. King, do yourself the best service you could ever. Do not try to insert your life into the opposite gender when you have yet to master what vulnerability and transparency is. Do I have to repeat the shit? Because I'm going to tell you one thing I learned about this whole pandemic. There was a whole lot of people that were by themselves. And in turn, because we were locked down, some people decided to do self-inventory. And when they did that, they identified what they needed. Not what they longed for, what they needed. You realize how many women that think, all I gotta do is give him a blowjob, he'll forget everything I done did. Don't do that. Don't freaking do that. Because that person that you have afforded access to your life will never respect you until you decide to respect yourself. Yeah, I know social media, you got all these challenges and all these memes and videos out, and it is common that people will gravitate to the things that they can relate to, but majority of the time they will just only want to imitate what they see for temporary acceptance. Who am I talking to? Now I know I've been on a tangent for a minute, and I'm going to bring this home. Queen, if you long to be somebody's wife, stop playing. Do not put yourself and try to interject someone. Try not. Oh, let me read. If you think the tactic of interjecting your life into someone's life that is a work in progress, you just gave yourself the biggest injustice you could ever fathom. Because you got to go through the pain factor. But if they ain't got their shit together, how they gonna protect you? How they gonna lead you? How they gonna be the voice of reason when times get low? But society says she don't matter. She's just a breeder. As long as I keep popping these orgasms, the dumber she get. And this is a selfish point. You know why they do that? Because they know not only physically, emotionally, spiritually, you have no foundation or fortress around you. Because if they knew remotely a male presence was in the midst of you or your ear, most of the people that choose to use physical abuse do it because they think they can get away with it. Or they've been there long enough to come up with a strategy of disrespect to be able to gaslight and dispel what the behavior is. Oh, what her mama got to say. Look how she moved. What her sister gonna say? Who is she to be an advocate when she got all these kids and she ain't married? Come on. Come on. Come on. And then from a retail standpoint, there's a new pill. There's a new product for those non-dry days because you're unable. Listen, King, I would be remiss to say this, but I'm going to share this. Why do you think most women go through menopause? Think about it. They go through the process of life because emotionally they have shut down. That is why when you see certain women that are seasoned in their years, and then all of a sudden they make the news because they have conceived, they have a child on the way. Like, well, how the hell the fuck they do that? I'm gonna tell you the commonality, because they happy. See, when a person's unhappy, the body goes into shock, and when it gets to a point of trauma, guess what? The things that should work normally shut down because it is proverbially dead. Why am I telling you this? Queen, you know what's going on? Society is trying to make you the living incarnate of the Jezebel spirit. Who am I talking to? If you look at society socially, the examples is nothing but the Jezebel spirit. Because that's how she navigated. She put status over her heart. She used manipulation and gaslighting techniques to navigate her way through status, only to have a painful death. This person was dismembered. It's in the scriptures. But you keep, and I get it, because you got some women that have convinced and say, well, the guys can do it. So if I want to go outside and strike my itch, lastly, you may be wondering why my disposition is the way it is, and I expect to get flat. That's fine. But if it motivates you to ponder a different approach, a different direction, a different outcome, it was worth it. Because you are giving access to people, friends, family, associates that do not deserve to hear you freaking breathe. And then ultimately, some of you are ransoming your physicality based off of temporary or the illusion of security. And when these people do not give a damn about your well-being. That's why you always will hear me say, sometimes, once you have done the work, it is meant for you to get out the way of those who cannot walk with you so you can claim the rightful way or direction that was meant for you all along. Unfortunately, there are going to be some that will dispel what I've shared. And guess what? It ain't going to get real. It'll get real when you're in your season. Or as I said, the storm. Your spiritual storm. Because the one thing we can all agree upon is you can't run from you. Doesn't matter how you train yourself or try to change the narrative of your reality until you are able to claim your life, reconnect to that little boy and little girl that has been screaming the whole time to get you to come back. It should not take for somebody to go upside your freaking head for you to say, oh, it didn't got real now. Like I said, you got little boys competing to convince themselves that they're men when actually they need guidance. Women need the same thing to understand what nurturement is all about. Because when you understand the power of nurturement, you'll also understand why you were blessed to be called woman. But as long as you keep playing little girl games and playing the next contestant for the raffle of your body, ain't nothing good gonna come out of that. Well, what do I know? It's just your life. It's just your pain. It's your choice. Just remember, time don't stop. But what ends up happening is the price is paid through time when you decide to be real with yourself. Peace.